years. Charles Leclerc, who won here in 2022, was the last non-Red Bull car to lead this Grand Prix, and he leads it now. 2.3 second stop for Piastri, which is just what he wanted. Lewis Hamilton moves on. It's a Ferrari 1-2. More come into the pits. Carlos Sainz pitting, Ollie Behrman pitting. That is George Russell behind the Williams of Alex Albon. And Oscar Piastri is out ahead of the boat. Meanwhile, his teammate Lando Norris is getting past Fernando Alonso. Sainz makes his stop. The Williams team softs go off, medium go on. I like this, Martin. We've got a change in strategy, different tyres at different times, and that always gives us
surprising how much I know that Norris had to pass Alonso. It's surprising how much he lost to Russell on that previous lap. So Russell coming out and finding pace straight away. Stepping down in 12th on those half compound tyres. Yeah, you don't sense it's working that well for Red Bull, do you?
No,
you really don't.
Not currently. Turn 9 and 10. Track surface apparently is slippery. I wonder if there's been any rain. I doubt that very much, but there's something slipping down there that the drivers are being warned about apparently. I wonder if there might be a bit of debris down there where someone's had some contact. George Russell getting past Alex Albon. Russell has pitted so far. Albon hasn't, so we can go down to 10.
Just to recap on those Red Bull slow pit stops, it did actually cost both Tsunoda and Verstappen a place. Verstappen came out behind Ocon, who's yet to pit, and they thought they'd be clear of Ocon. Verstappen's still behind Ocon, and Yuki Tsunoda came out behind Hadjar, but Yuki has now cleared Hadjar. So Yuki has recovered the place that he lost after that slow pit stop. But Crofty, that's an automated system. Once all the wheel guns are done up tight enough, and the rear jack has dropped, it should turn green. So clearly there's a bug in the system now.
Thanks, Joe.
If you're a Ferrari fan, they're running 1 and 2. Wish for a safety car right now because they need it.
At the moment, we're still on Plan B for Bravo. Plan B for Bravo. Perfect notes are from
Back to the Ferrari filing cabinet of strategic options. I think they're looking at a one-stop if they could try and make it work. Or maybe Charles Leclerc thinks no.
There's some horrible tyres at the end of the Grand Prix, won't they? They do that to see how far they can get. But they're in the 138s, and the pace now with fresh tyres is in the 137s. Hamilton was a 39.2 in fact, so they're going to lose a second a lap now until such time as they hand those tyres in with no part exchange price and no warranty whatsoever.
So Leclerc and Hamilton lead Charles Leclerc's first laps to the lead of the Grand Prix since I did last year. He actually runs third ahead of Russell, Albon fifth who hasn't pitted, and Lando Norris, who is only about 5 seconds behind his teammate Oscar Piastri, who was at the end of lap 15. That's 5 seconds extra in the pit stop, and he was only 4.4 seconds behind when the pit stop round started. So he's done very well by pitting early to make up that time deficit, but does he pay for that by using his tyres a bit longer towards the end of the race, and is that where Piastri comes into his own. Sainz there getting past the salver of Nico Hülkenberg into 50.
And Albon pitted out of the way of Norris there, so Norris has just got Russell and Piastri up the road now. The two Ferraris are out front, but they'll pit at some point. So suddenly the leaders have got some fresh air to drive into.
Into the pits, as you say, comes Alex Albon, also Fernando Alonso. Ollie Behrman has already pitted and has been noted for a potential unsafe release. You can see it there at the top of your screen. Meanwhile, on the track, Max Verstappen has Kimi Antonelli for company. Verstappen on the hard compound tyre, running in a place. And with the ability to go to the end of this race, although that would be some Herculean task to do a one-stop from that early on. He's already, Verstappen, done 6 laps on these hard compound tyres, but Antonelli is chasing him here and is in the mood for an overtake or two. Young man, with great demeanour about him, a real cheery character, and who just looks forward to every single day behind the wheel of his Formula 1 car.
We've got a wonderful grid actually at the moment.
What's this for mediums? He's considering
One stop. He wants to go one stop, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But,
So he wants to go onto the hard, and now they are committed to a two-stop because he started on the mediums. He's going on to the mediums again, and now they've gone through all this pain, Martin. What is the gain by putting another set of mediums on?
Well, they'll be very fast through this phase, won't they? But they'll need to be to catch that gap back. They've got to stack the Ferraris because they were 9 seconds apart, so they could do that quite comfortably.
They're going to come out behind Jack Doohan, I think.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of track position here. Get a payback, will they get some dividend? I mean, Lewis coming out there behind Yuki Tsunoda as well. Will he manage to stay ahead of Hadjar and Sainz? Yes, he will.
Yeah, well, there's Carlos Sainz on the racing bull of Isaac Hadjar. And so Charles Leclerc has got out ahead of Esteban Ocon. That's crucial. Lewis Hamilton comes out behind Tsunoda. And maybe that has swayed Ferrari's decision there, because Verstappen's struggling on the hards.
Yes.
So they think, well, actually, we need to stay off them.
Yeah, just remind you get 2 sets of those for the entire Grand Prix event. And so this is the first time Max has used them around this track.
It is, because he saved that too. Now, here's Liam Lawson coming in for his pit stop. That's Ollie Behrman going out of his pit stop. That's a 5-second time penalty for Ollie Behrman, I think. No, they just reposted the 5-second time penalty for Lando Norris on the timing screen. So there you go. To say it's been served, I think that is right. Ted, down to you.
I watched that release of the Haas and the RB, and I thought for a moment, a bit tight, but actually it looked quite fluid on the replay. I think Haas and Behrman will feel a bit hard done by if they get done for an unsafe release. That looked okay to me.
It depends if Lawson wasn't it? It depends if Lawson had to get on the brakes.
No further investigation. That has just flashed up now. It goes purple with new messages. And we try and watch about 5 screens as Lewis Hamilton just watching the car in front, which was Yuki Tsunoda, and is now the car behind. So, Karun Chandhok at Sky Race Control. Have Ferrari, I wonder, looked at Max Verstappen's struggles on the hard tyre and thought, no, we need to switch this around from our original intended strategy before we do any more damage.
I think that is the case, Coffee. The three clear, Carlos Sainz.
We saw it in real time, Carlos Sainz going past Isaac Hadjar. I think he's very closer to the top now.
Yeah, Verstappen's not exactly flying past Esteban Ocon, is he? Which is, you'd expect in the case of the Red Bull. So I think that is what's happened. But by going longer, they've dropped Lewis Hamilton behind Jack Doohan. So he's lost out in terms of track position. Charles Leclerc is still hanging on to that 4th place. So the timing worked out just about right for Leclerc to stay ahead of Gasly, crucially. And his tyres now 7 laps newer than Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly.
And you might be wondering why Esteban Ocon is currently running 6th. He came in for a fairly early pit stop and produced a decent undercut, but he's been on those tyres now for 10 laps. Might start to struggle a bit earlier than others, but it's a good bit of strategy there from the Haas team just to get him a bit further ahead and some track position.
Leclerc fastest man on the track, just 7.8 seconds off the lead, but just took a second out of that lead. So he's got good track position and the tyres now. Unfortunately, Lewis Hamilton hasn't got the track position and does have traffic.
Verstappen moved over to the inside to cover up Kimi Antonelli. He knew he was coming. Antonelli might be coming back at him again to just under 3/10. The current gap, that gap is diminishing all the time because here comes Antonelli with the aid of DRS and Planning picks around turn 4, and then a big gap opens as Verstappen runs wide and almost wheel to wheel to the first part of those corners. Go Antonelli and Verstappen before the young Italian moves ahead, gets a round of applause in the garage, and a little shake of approval from Bono, his race engineer.
That is going to, terminology may I use, make Max very unhappy indeed, shall I say.
Yeah. He's certainly struggling here. The man who started on pole and has won and has led every lap, the last 2 Bahrain Grand Prix. which, by the way, very windy here tonight, as you can see from the fountains. It's a headwind down into turn 1. By the time you get to turn 11, it's a bit of a tailwind there, and it's gusting quite strong as we approach lap 21 of this race, or start lap 21 of this race, with Oscar Piastri leading by 4 seconds. And Lando Norris starting to close on George Russell. Everything's overheating, says Max Verstappen. I'm not surprised, Ted. It's a warm night.
Actually, there's a little bit of a breeze keeping everything quite cool down here. But yeah, so Max Verstappen just losing a bit more pace. 9th place, Jack Doohan. So going really well in the other Alpine, Pierre Gasly P5, but Pierre Gasly can't close on Leclerc in front of him. But Norris, you're absolutely right, Crofty. I've been looking at his lap times, edging ever closer to George Russell. This is going to turn into a fight very soon. Will he be able to get past him in this stint?
Commentator's curse, he's just lost 3 tenths to George Russell in the first sector of his lap, which you didn't see, Ted. But yeah. The first sector has been Mercedes' better sector compared to the McLaren middle sector. The McLaren's been pretty awesome compared to their Mercedes rivals.
So what we watch now is Leclerc. I think he might just start cruising up in the gearbox of Norris, who's not very far from the gearbox of Russell. So Ferrari on those fresh tyres, by keeping him in a decent sort of track position, which Lewis was 9.5 behind him, remember, made all the difference as Lewis Hamilton shaping up for a pass on Jack Doohan.
I wish we'd have heard that whole message from Max Verstappen, because I think it ended with everything is overheating, including me. He is not happy tonight at all.
I think I just predicted that. It was just you know, to actually, I mean, to have the 18-year-old literally went, okay, you go there, I'll just go around the other side of you then. Will it be infuriated him?
I am sure it will. Here's Lewis Hamilton down that main straight with fresher rubber than Jack Doohan, who has completed 12 laps on his medium tyres. Hamilton down the inside on Jack Doohan and makes that overtake. He made his pit stop a lot.